Well, I'll say it's more faith-based. It's more faith-based and just commit to it, you know. Obviously, me and Jerry had that dispute or whatever last week, but, you know, I had faith in him. You know, he had faith in me. And everybody put everything aside and, okay, cool, let's go out there and play ball. You know, God forgive everybody else, so why not us forgive each other, you know? So that's, when you go in situations, you have no negativity, no hate on your heart, no anything, you know, and you out there enjoying, having fun.
Saw a clip of Jerry Jeudy on the sideline with Shedeur Sanders, and they're arguing, look like they're arguing over the play or whatever. But this goes back to, I told y'all. What I was saying was, it's time, or next season, it's going to be trade Jerry Jeudy time, dog. It's going to be trade Jerry Jeudy time. Shedeur is talking about trust, and you got this guy on the sideline arguing with Shedeur, talking about this need to be here. No, you need to be on the same page as your quarterback, not trying to make your quarterback be on the same page as you. You tripping. What the hell wrong with you, dog? That's why he out of here. I saw that shit on the football field, not even seeing what happened on the sideline. I saw it on the field. When you're not on the same page as your quarterback, your ass gonna be gone, not the quarterback. See.
Shedeur Sanders just delivered one of the most heartbreaking and powerful press conferences of his entire career, and Jerry Jeudy has to be feeling instant regret after what Shedeur revealed about their sideline dispute and how he still showed faith in the veteran receiver despite everything that went down last week. In an emotional moment that's already going viral across social media, Shedeur opened up about talking to God all week just to get mentally clear after the public confrontation, saying, "Me and Jerry had that dispute or whatever last week, but I had faith in him, he had faith in me, and everybody put everything aside." Then he threw Jeudy a touchdown and said the decision brought joy to Jerry's struggling season. But here's what's absolutely devastating and shows Shedeur's unbelievable maturity. When asked about a failed two-point conversion where the coaching staff called a play that didn't even work in practice, Shedeur took full responsibility, saying, "I would never go against what the call was," and defended coaches who were clearly setting him up to fail, all while admitting, "My dad mad at me for sure about a risky interception he threw trying to create a spark for a stagnant offense." This press conference reveals a young quarterback shouldering blame he doesn't deserve, showing grace to teammates who publicly disrespected him, and still getting undermined by a coaching staff that's running plays in games that literally failed in practice.
I know we practiced something and we executed it in practice, and we just didn't seem to this day. So I would never go against, you know, kind of like what the call was or anything.
Did it work in practice?
No, we just called it in the game and it didn't work in practice. I don't think you call plays in the game that didn't work in practice.
What I would have done different, I probably just probably taught them off camera. You feel me? No, that's probably what I would have done different. You know, of course I'm gonna speak my mind and tell me what and say what I need, what I see out there. But you know, it what it is. Football, man. Just me and Shedeur are good. You know, stuff like that happens. You know, y'all gonna make it bigger than what it is. You know, because the media, you know, that's what y'all feed off of, negativity. You know, but it is what it is. This is the life we live. So
the hardest thing in this game and right now is having trust with everybody. You know, certain movements, certain way we make eye contact, like certain things, it is so detailed, and that's how I play very comfortably. So that's how I get in my comfort zone. That's how I get in my bag. That's how I'm able to do that.
Look, I need you to watch this entire press conference because what Shedeur Sanders revealed is going to break your heart and make you respect this young man even more than you already do. This wasn't just another post-game presser. This was a 23-year-old quarterback bearing his soul about faith, forgiveness, mental struggles, and taking responsibility for things that aren't his fault. Let me start with the most infuriating part of this entire press conference because it exposes exactly what Shedeur has been dealing with in Cleveland. A reporter asked him about the failed two-point conversion attempt that could have tied the game. And Shedeur's response should make every Browns fan absolutely furious at the coaching staff. Listen to what he said. "I was thankful that I was driving down the field and we were scoring. Did I wish I had the ball in my hand in that moment to tie the game? If I'm out there any play, I would wish I would always have the ball in my hand. But that's not what football is. Sometimes you got to run the ball. Sometimes you got to kick a field goal. That's the game. That's the most important thing is the ball." So far, that sounds like a mature quarterback understanding team football, right? But then the reporter asked the killer question. Did it work in practice? And Shedeur's response should shock you. No, we just called it in the game, and it didn't work in practice.
Did it work in practice?
No, we just called it in the game and it didn't work in practice.
Shedeur,
I don't think you call plays in a game that didn't work in practice.
Shedeur, what was working for you so well today, and it looked like pretty bad conditions out there?
What was working for me, I'll say God. God was working for me, honestly. The way how he, I would say, let me be mentally clear.
Read that again. Let it sink in. The Cleveland Browns coaching staff called a 2-point conversion in a crucial moment of the game, a play that could tie the game and give them a chance to win. And it was a play that didn't even work in practice. The reporter couldn't believe it either, asking, I don't think you call plays in a game that didn't work in practice. But here's what absolutely breaks my heart about Shedeur's response. Instead of throwing the coaches under the bus, which he would be completely justified in doing, he defended them. He said, I would never go against, kind of like what the call was or anything. That's leadership. That's maturity. That's a young quarterback protecting his coaches even when they're setting him up to fail. But it also reveals something deeply disturbing about what's happening in Cleveland. They're running plays in actual NFL games that couldn't even succeed in practice against their own defense. And it gets worse. When asked if the play was a surprise to him, Shedeur said, nothing we do out there on the field is a surprise to me, honestly. We practice for situations, we do everything. And if they knew it would pan out like that, I don't think they would have did it. I don't think in any situation, if we feel like something's not going to be successful, we'll intentionally call it and then be surprised when it don't work. But that's exactly what happened. They called a play that failed in practice, it failed in the game, and now Shedeur is standing at a podium defending coaches who were literally setting him up to fail. This is the environment Shedeur Sanders is operating in. This is what he's dealing with every single week. And somehow, he's still finding ways to nearly win games and lead fourth quarter comebacks.
What about just the ability, do you think you showed just the moxie, the never say die, relentlessness, the ability to just come back and just fight to the bitter end?
I've been this way. So this is God showing a lot of people who I am. A lot of circumstances, will sometimes get you mentally not in your best place, and you got to find your happy place. You got to find what.
Now, let me tell you about the heartbreaking part of this press conference that's going viral for all the right reasons. A reporter asked Shedeur about his ability to come back and fight through adversity, to show moxie and never say die relentlessness, and the ability to just fight to the bitter end. And Shedeur's response is going to make you emotional. He said, I've been this way, so this is God showing a lot of people who I am. A lot of circumstances sometimes get you mentally not in your best place, and you gotta find your happy place. You gotta find that for you. So I think that's I've been praying and doing a lot, talking to God this week in general, to get back to that place, to get back there. So yeah, it's him. He the one did it for me. Y'all, do you understand what Shedeur just revealed? He spent the entire week talking to God, praying, trying to get back to his happy place mentally, because the circumstances he's dealing with in Cleveland have been so difficult that it's affecting his mental state. This is a 23-year-old kid who's been publicly disrespected by his own receiver on the sideline, buried on the depth chart by coaches who never wanted him, running an offense so basic that analysts call it a high school scheme, dealing with an offensive line that's been accused of sabotaging plays, and still he's out here taking responsibility and giving God the glory. When asked what was working for him in the game despite terrible weather conditions, Shedeur didn't talk about his arm strength or his preparation or his talent. Listen to what he said. I'll say God. God was working for me honestly. The way how he, I would say, let me be mentally clear out there. The game is mental, and in a lot of different situations, when it's a lot of confusion, when it's a lot of adversity, when it's a lot of things going on, that's why I feel like God steps in the most for me to be able to help me stay mentally clear and mentally close to him.
So this is God showing a lot of people who I am. A lot of circumstances, will sometimes get you mentally not mentally not in your best place, you know, and you got to find your happy place. You got to find that it for you. So I think that's kind of I've been praying and doing a lot, you know, talking to God this week in general to get back to that place, you know, to get back there. So, yeah, it's him. He the one did it for me.
Sure, you talked this week about...
That's not just a generic giving God the glory answer. That's a young man who's been in spiritual warfare all week long, fighting to maintain his mental clarity in an environment that's trying to break him down. And then he addressed the interception he threw, the risky play where he tried to force something to happen because the offense was stagnant. And his honesty here is devastating. On the interception, I say I feel we stagnant. I'm trying to get a spark. I'm trying to. So that's all it is. And as the game goes on, as time go on, I know my dad mad at me for that for sure. I know the team, everybody is. But I would say as time goes on, those decisions and those things will slim down. And we won't be in situations where I have that feeling like I gotta make something happen. I know my dad mad at me for that for sure. Y'all, Deion Sanders is probably the person whose opinion matters most to Shedeur in the entire world. And Shedeur knows he disappointed his father with that decision, but he's taking full accountability for it, admitting he felt desperate to create a spark for a stagnant offense. That's the reality of what Shedeur is dealing with. The offense is so limited, so predictable, so stagnant that he feels like he has to take risks just to move the ball. And when those risks don't work out, he shoulders all the blame himself. But here's where this story gets beautiful and shows you the kind of person Shedeur Sanders really is. A reporter asked him about the Jerry Jeudy situation, the public sideline confrontation that went viral last week where Jeudy was screaming at Shedeur about not getting targets.
It's more faith-based and just commit to it, you know. Obviously, me and Jerry had that dispute or whatever last week, but, you know, I had faith in him. You know, he had faith in me. And everybody put everything aside and, okay, cool, let's go out there and play ball. You know, God forgive everybody else, so why not let's forgive each other, you know. So that's... When you go in situations, you have no negativity, no hate on your heart, no anything, you know, and you out there enjoying, having fun.
And Shedeur's response is going to make Jerry Jeudy feel instant regret for ever doubting this young man. Listen to every word of this because it's powerful. All say it's more faith-based. It's more faith-based and just commit to it. Obviously, me and Jerry had that dispute or whatever last week, but I had faith in him. He had faith in me. And everybody put everything aside and, okay, cool, let's go out there and play ball. God forgive everybody else, so why not let's forgive each other? God forgive everybody else, so why not let's forgive each other? That's grace. That's maturity. That's a young man who understands that if God can forgive him for his mistakes, the least he can do is forgive his teammates for theirs. Shedeur continued, so that's when you go in situations you have no negativity, no hate on your heart, no anything, and you out there enjoying, having fun, then that's the result you're going to be able to get. So that was the message in pregame. We all together, we gotta be as one. No matter what happens, good, bad, ugly, we gotta stay together. So that's just a testimony for real. Can you imagine being Jerry Jeudy and hearing this? You publicly disrespect your rookie quarterback on the sideline in front of millions of people. The whole world sees you losing your composure and getting in his face. And then that same quarterback spends the week praying for mental clarity, gives you a pregame message about staying together as one, and then throws you a touchdown to help your struggling season?
And speaking of Jerry, just on the touchdown throw to him, how did that play sort of develop? What did you see? And then how nice was it to be able to connect with him for that score?
It was truly exciting being able to connect with him, because I know the season in a lot kind of like hasn't gone the way he wanted to this year. So the fact that, you know, one decision could bring some more joy in his life.
And when asked about that touchdown connection with Jeudy, Shedeur's response is going to make you love this kid even more. It was truly exciting being able to connect with him because I know the season and a lot kind of like hasn't gone the way he wanted to this year. So the fact that one decision for me could bring somewhat joy in his life and be able to help the team out overall, that brings me peace. That brings me happiness. One decision from me could bring somewhat joy in his life. Y'all, Jerry Jeudy has been having the worst season of his career. He leads the NFL in drops. He's on pace for career-low production. He fumbled in a crucial situation. And instead of holding a grudge or being petty about the sideline confrontation, Shedeur is happy that he could bring joy to Jeudy's life with that touchdown. That's not normal. That's not typical rookie behavior. That's a young man who's operating on a completely different spiritual and emotional level than most people his age. But here's what makes this even more powerful. Shedeur admitted that he's been in a difficult mental space all week. He's been fighting to get back to his happy place. He's been dealing with circumstances that have taken him out of his best mental state. And still, with everything he's going through personally, his focus is on bringing joy to a teammate who disrespected him publicly. When asked if he feels more in command now as the starting quarterback, Shedeur's response shows the humility that makes him so special. A couple weeks ago, I wasn't the starter. It's only like, second, third game? I'm comfortable with being uncomfortable. That's just kind of the situation I'm in, and I'm fine with that. I love that, because my story and everything inspires people to make sure, even if they in uncomfortable positions and situations, to stay on course and keep that mental strong and be able to push through adversity, knowing that you'll be able to see the other side one day.
I mean, a couple weeks ago, I wasn't the starter. It's only second, third game? Third game.
But how much more just how much more comfortable do you feel in that role?
I mean, I'm comfortable with being uncomfortable. You gotta understand, that's just kind of like the situation I'm in, and I'm fine with that. I love that, because my story and everything inspires people to make sure, even if they ain't uncomfortable.
I'm comfortable with being uncomfortable. That's not just a catchphrase. That's a lifestyle for Shedeur Sanders right now. He's uncomfortable with the offense he's running. He's uncomfortable with the lack of weapons. He's uncomfortable with the coaching decisions. He's uncomfortable with the public scrutiny. But he's comfortable in that discomfort because he knows his story is bigger than himself. He continued, "My story and everything inspires people to make sure, even if they're in uncomfortable positions in situations, to stay on course." Shedeur understands that millions of people are watching him navigate this impossible situation. People who are in their own uncomfortable circumstances, their own difficult environments, their own battles with mental clarity and finding their happy place. And he's choosing to be a testimony. He's choosing to show grace. He's choosing to take responsibility. He's choosing to forgive. He's choosing to bring joy to others, even when he's fighting his own battles. A reporter asked him about feeling the love from the Browns fans during his fourth quarter comeback attempt, and Shedeur's response reveals something beautiful. "I always seen the excitement since draft day. I seen the excitement, so ain't nothing changed. Nothing changed with it at all. But enjoy, deep down within myself, that's where I felt the most excitement. Because sometimes you don't know if you're going to get in that place. You don't know if you're going to get in the end zone. It's a lot that come with this game. It's a lot to even get on the field. So it's like the fact to be able to start making that a habit, that's new to me. That's something different for me."
And then you threw that touchdown pass, and you're bringing the Browns back there at the end. How much love did you feel from the dog pound and from the fans? And can you just feel the excitement here and what it's going to be like when you guys kind of get this thing going?
Yeah, I always seen the excitement since draft day. I seen the excitement, so ain't nothing changed. Nothing changed with it at all. But enjoy, deep down within myself, that's where I felt the most excitement, because it's
Sometimes you don't know if you're going to get in that place. Y'all, Shedeur has been so buried by this organization, so limited by this coaching staff, so doubted by everyone around him, that he's genuinely grateful just to be in position to score touchdowns. That's where he's at mentally. Thankful for opportunities that should be normal for a quarterback of his talent level. And when asked what he wants to accomplish in the coming weeks, Shedeur's answer shows the kind of leader he's becoming. This week, we have improved from sideline communication, keeping everybody chill, keeping everybody under one tent, basically. communication with everybody, just checking everybody's temperature, how everybody's feeling, what we need to do offensively, what players are comfortable with everything. So I feel like that was something that I feel like we improved this week. Did you catch that? Shedeur is checking his teammates' temperature. He's making sure everyone is mentally in a good place. He's creating unity. He's building culture. And he's doing all of this while fighting his own mental battles and dealing with coaches who are calling plays that don't work in practice. Going into next week, of course, it'll be timing. It'll be being able to anticipate a little bit more, being able to see throws I missed, how to get in that rhythm early on. Like, it's a lot of things I would say that we go in a week trying to improve, and we got to look at the film. I know I didn't play perfect, so it's definitely being able to see that, being able to go over and rekindle my thoughts on what I missed and why I missed it, to get to the root of everything so then it won't be consistent problems. Get to the root of everything so then it won't be consistent problems. That's not just football talk. That's therapy talk. That's someone who's doing deep internal work to understand not just what went wrong, but why it went wrong so he can fix it at the source. And then Shedeur ended with this. Every week we look into change mentally, physically, and emotionally, so then we all are in a better place for next week. Mentally, physically, and emotionally. This young man understands that football isn't just a physical game. It's not just mental, it's emotional. And he's committed to growing in all three areas every single week, even when the environment around him is trying to tear him down. This press conference is going viral for a reason. It's not just about football. It's not just about a touchdown to Jerry Jeudy or a failed two-point conversion. It's about a young man showing the world what real character looks like. It's about forgiveness when you have every right to hold a grudge. It's about grace when others have shown you none. It's about accountability when the blame isn't really yours. It's about faith when circumstances try to shake you. It's about leadership when you're only in your third start. It's about maturity beyond your years. It's about being comfortable in uncomfortable situations. It's about bringing joy to others when you're fighting your own battles. And if Jerry Jeudy doesn't feel instant regret after hearing all of this, after seeing the kind of person his quarterback is, after realizing that Shedeur spent the week praying about their relationship and then threw him a touchdown to bring joy to his struggling season, then I don't know what to tell you. This is who Shedeur Sanders is. Not the social media personality, not the celebrity, not the rapper or the influencer or the son of Dion. This is the real Shedeur. A young man of deep faith, incredible maturity, genuine humility, and unshakable character who's navigating an impossible situation with more grace than most veteran players could ever muster. In Cleveland, better wake up and realize what they have before it's too late. Because this kind of leadership, this kind of character, this kind of testimony doesn't come around very often. And the fact that they're wasting it with failed practice plays and high school offenses is a crime. So here's my question for y'all. After hearing Shedeur talk about praying all week for mental clarity, forgiving Jerry Jeudy, taking blame for plays that aren't his fault, and still defending coaches who call plays that don't work in practice, how can anyone still doubt this young man's character or leadership? And when are the Browns going to stop making him comfortable with being uncomfortable and actually give him the support system he deserves? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if Shedeur's faith, maturity, and grace in this press conference moved you the way it moved me, smash that subscribe button because we're going to keep highlighting the real character of this young man beyond just the football. This is what leadership looks like, and Cleveland better wake up and realize what they have before it's too late. Because this kind of leadership, this kind of character, this kind of testimony doesn't come around very often. And the fact that they're wasting it with failed practice plays and high school offenses is a crime. Let's talk about it.